Jerusalem, talk to correspondent Jordana Miller, who joins us from there. Jordana, Netanyahu then not offering, well, any respite really for the new year.
That's right. Prime Minister Netanyahu has been consistent in his messaging that this war will continue until it has met its goals, and that is dismantling Hamas and destroying its military infrastructure. And it's clear that Israel is not there yet. So we heard Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu say this weekend that the war will go on for many, many months. And then as recently as last night, the spokesman for the Israeli army said they are putting into plans now, actually bringing out some of the reservists to give them a rest until they are called back, because as he sees it, the war will go on well throughout next year, that is 2024. So the big question, Stuart, is what is this war going to look like in this coming year? And it's very, very likely that we're not sure exactly when, if it's going to be in January or in February, we will see this war shift to a kind of lower level war where Israel will end up, most people believe, pulling out some of its troops, retreating from some of the densely populated urban centers where it is operating right now, and then continue to carry out targeted operations, raid, lower level operations against Hamas strongholds, against infrastructure, against where they believe some of the leaders are. And we may see that change take place after the next, God willing, as we say here, hostage release deal and ceasefire, which is being negotiated now. There hasn't been a major breakthrough, but all the parties are at the table. And in this context, that is a good sign. And we're looking at possibly Israel would agree again to release at a 3-to-1 ratio Palestinians who've been jailed for various crimes, including murder this time, in exchange for the release of 40 to 50 hostages, not the soldiers, but all of the women, children, the elderly, and the injured. And that number is, according to Israel's estimation, between 40 and 50. And at that point, we may see this switch as part of the deal where Israel will pull out and the massive ground offensive that we have seen now will wind down, and we'll see a different kind of war, which the prime minister and the defense officials say will go on for several months, likely through to all of 2024.
Jordana, this comes as well, doesn't it, as rockets were also fired towards Tel Aviv and southern Israel, subduing even further, perhaps, New Year celebrations there?
Right. We got our own special kind of fireworks from Hamas last night, right after midnight. Even though the sirens didn't go off here in Jerusalem, we could still hear some of the distant booms, those interceptions going off. It was a huge barrage on Tel Aviv as well. The whole holiday season here has been really eclipsed by the war, from Hanukkah through to Christmas and now New Year's. I mean, there's a sullen mood, across the country and, of course, in Gaza as well, because people are dying, people are suffering. I was somewhere last night with a friend who has several of her sons in Gaza, and she doesn't sleep at night. And there are people in Gaza who, they can't sleep at night because they don't really have even adequate shelter. They're in tents around the Rafah area because Israel's operating so heavily in central Gaza right now. And again, the one declared safe zone, Mawazi, is not adequate or large enough for all of the Gazans who've been displaced, now about 80%. So that number is about 1.8 million Gazans. I mean, the new year, we can all hope that, not only will the war wind down as Israel, it reaches its goals of destroying Hamas in the Gaza Strip, because it's clear that Hamas cannot exist or govern there, given October 7th. We can hope that more humanitarian aid will get in, and that, there will be some kind of political transition in Gaza, whatever that looks like. Most people believe it will be some kind of reformed or revived Palestinian leadership, where this very devastating part of the war, can end in the coming year. That's the hope, I think, by most people in this region.
Jordana, thank you very much. Jordana Miller, correspondent, talking to us there from
Thanks,
Jerusalem.
Stuart.